Good morning. It's a rainy one today. We're all going to be stuck inside, so it's a good day to get some reading done. I'll keep this short this morning since I know you have some things to do for this class, and I'm sure your others as well. Both in reading, things fall apart, and then also your vocabulary quiz. Let's talk about that first. That's going to open up on vocabulary.com. I had originally said I would use quizzes or Edmodo, but I went ahead and just assigned a quiz off of the vocabulary platform. So on there today, you have two assignments that are due. The 100% mastery, if you need a daily grade, okay? And then the actual quiz, if you need a vocabulary quiz grade. All right, that's totally up to you based on what category of grade you need, but those two opportunities are due today and available to you, okay? Just another note on grades, and I know I keep repeating myself, so for those of you who watch these videos consistently, I'm sorry that I sound like a broken record. I really am working through those research papers as quickly as I can. Guys, it's time consuming. It would have been just as time consuming if we'd been back at Pope. I wouldn't probably be done yet there either. So, but the way I'm having to grade them is so very different, and maybe I'm a little slow with the learning curve. We all know I am a little bit challenged with technology sometimes. So please trust that I'm working as hard and quickly as I can. I know that some of you are eager because you think that research paper or the technical aspects test might be the thing that pushes you up to the next grade level. And then maybe you could just, get to quit working. So I get that you're getting a little bit impatient. But you're just gonna have to keep working and keep patient as best as you possibly can. Does that mean that you'll end up in the long run having done a couple more assignments that maybe you had to do? I mean, maybe, but I'm not really sorry about that because, sorry, it's not hurting you, to keep thinking and learning and benefiting from some of this. So, you just have to stay patient. I'm trying to stay positive and patient. I get an astronomical number of messages and emails every day too. That also takes up a great deal of my time. And a lot of them are questions that I answered in videos. I've got 140 students, and a lot of them, I'm giving you guys as much as possible some one-on-one attention when you email me and message me, and I want to be able to do that. Just understand, it's not like I sit in front of my computer and grade for 8 hours straight. That's not physically possible with everything else that I have to do. So there it is. Again, be patient. We're going to get through this, and it's all going to be fun and wonderful. Okay? All right, now the last thing I want to talk about before I let you go is I want to talk about the concept of tragedy and tragic hero. We've already been introduced to this when we read Hamlet. We talked about tragedy, and we talked about how Hamlet was a tragic hero. The tragic hero is someone who is great by nature and has a mixture of good qualities and bad qualities, and they find themselves in a difficult situation and having to make difficult choices and decisions. The tragic hero is going to have some sort of tragic flaw, some inherent part of who they are that causes them to make errors in judgment. Okay, and the tragic hero is capable of great suffering and will suffer for a long time until they come to this realization that everything that's happened is a bit their own fault, and that they have to be willing to live or die with the consequences. Okay, I have a little graphic that I've used in the past, and it really illustrates very well that cycle of the tragic hero. It starts right up here at about 1 o'clock ish. That it's a person of status. A lot of times the person is born into nobility. That's not possible with Things Fall Apart because that's not part of who they are culturally. You have to earn your noble status. So just being part of that, higher social class or whatever is typical of that tragic hero. The tragic flaw that I already discussed, with Hamlet, it's his hesitation, it's his inability to act, the fact that he just thinks too much, and that compounds his problem. With Romeo, his tragic flaw is that he's impulsive. He acts without thinking, and it causes him to make a series of decisions that affect his fate later on. And you can see that pattern with your tragic hero. It's usually established from the very beginning, and maybe some of the decisions that the hero makes at the beginning aren't horribly tragic, aren't going to lead to his death, but they're certainly establishing a pattern of behavior. So, what do you need to consider? Well, what's Okonkwo's tragic flaw? What is it about him, deep inside, his character traits, his personality, that create so many issues for him, that cause him to do things that have serious repercussions, and so forth? Okay, and so this tragic flaw leads to this crisis and this chain of events that becomes more tragic. And you see this great man of noble status, I'm way down here now, have a reversal of fortune, which means he descends. Like you're going to see a downfall. He goes from way up here to way down here. Hamlet descends into madness. It was partially pretended madness, but then we almost feel like it's starting to become a little bit real, and he starts losing everything he has and everything he loves. Ha, Ophelia. And you're going to see that with Okonkwo as well. You already are seeing this with Okonkwo. You should already be able to establish his tragic flaw. You should already be seeing this tragic chain of events, the things that he does and the choices that he makes that are creating so many problems in his life. We see how his fortune is reversed. You know, not just the exile, but as he starts to come out of exile and return to Eumolpia and deal with the changes that have taken place in that community, we see that tragic flaw emerge even more. And you see already the suffering that Okonkwo has had to endure throughout the novel, particularly with the death of Ikamafuna and now this exile. And we're going to see that continue again in the ends of part 2 and into part 3. Until we get to this great emotional catharsis. It's a lot for the audience too. This feeling like we pity him or maybe we fear him. In this case, a lot of times we watch Okonkwo, there is a lot of pity and empathy. Like I feel bad for him, but I also kind of see where he's coming from and I kind of understand, the situation that he's been put through, but watching the way he deals with it is just, it's like a train wreck. So we have that moment of catharsis that leads eventually to this tragic ending. And because of this self-discovery and the realization that comes at the end, the tragic hero knows. Like he knows at the end what he's done, what his tragic flaw has led him to, and then he has to be willing to accept the consequences. Now, Aristotle says that a true hero can't be born until he's willing, he or she is willing to accept the consequences of their actions, being willing to live or die with the consequences. So I would encourage you to consider Okonkwo as a tragic hero. How does he fit into the tragic hero definition, and how does his story meet the tragic hero cycle? You will need to finish reading the book. I would suggest by Monday or before Monday, because on Monday there's going to be another writing task that you might want to tackle. And it will, the topic does allow you to include examples all the way from the end of the book. In fact, some of the best examples will come at the end of the book. So finishing by, I guess I should say before Monday, might be very important. And then we'll have Tuesday for you to review, work on the study guide that I posted a few days ago. And then the final test will be on Wednesday of next week so that we can wrap this up. Okay? All right, well, enjoy your rainy day. Happy reading. To stay on pace, try to there's 25 chapters total. So if you can get through chapter, 20 even today, 18 to 20 today, then you'll only have to read 20 through 25 before Monday. And that is easily manageable, okay? Don't forget the vocab quiz, though. All right, See you soon.